I had a short film at the festival in 2015. It was called Stop, and it was about a young African-American man who gets stopped and frisked by the police. And in the film are actual New York City police officers and actors. I grew up with them, I went to school with them, and we were celebrating that short here at the festival. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was having a conversation with a cop friend of mine, and we were talking about the Eric Garner case in Staten Island. That's where we both grew up, and we just saw two different things on that tape. You know, I saw a man that should be alive, and he saw something different. He just thought it was unfortunate that the guy was dead, but that he was resisting arrest. And, you know, one thing led to another. The conversation just got really heated, and it was just like, wow, I never felt a conversation like that in my life. That conversation sat with me for like 6 months. And that's really where like the genesis of the film started. I wasn't thinking about taking the short and stretching it into a feature, but that perspective was what really opened up the idea to, okay, I can look at this thing in another way. Perspective is really how we sort of opened it up, and that's how the triptych structure really started. It was like, well, how do we get to this place? That's where like Manny's character was born. It was interesting to think about these videotapes and how they affect or impact the community and people's lives that were affected by that. So it wasn't just one case. You know, we've got Philando Castile. There's so many cases, Walter Scott, and so many cases where the gentlemen that videotaped those incidents didn't want to come out with the video. And so I was like, okay, this is an interesting way to come into this particular story and show lives that were either uprooted or, you know, changed forever by them. And then the police perspective was something that I hadn't seen or heard on screen in that way. And so that was just something that was super interesting to me. It was a way to look at it in a way that we hadn't seen it, and tie in the short. And the short, you know, follows a young African-American man on his way home, and that's where Kelvin's character was born. And I just said, okay, there's a way to retain this thing and build a world around it that kind of feels like it's talking about the cycle rather than one particular case, because these things are happening all the time. It's happening everywhere, and I didn't want it to feel like one isolated thing. I wanted it to feel like something that can, you know, continue the conversation and broaden it rather than just isolate it.
I read the first scene in the script, and I had never read a script and had my heart beat fast when I was reading the first scene. You know, it's usually when you watch it, you see the visual, you see what's going on, but to read, just to read the words and my heart racing, and I'm like, yo, what is about to happen to this dude right now? I literally called my manager and said, yo, I need to be in this movie. And it was so interesting to piggyback off of what you said. It was so interesting because I know what I think, and I know what the majority of the public thinks about what's going on, but police officers, a lot of them feel differently. And my cousin literally was like, yo, Aunt, look at it from my perspective. I'm trying to go home to my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was arguing with him. I'm like, but you can go home to your family. You don't have to kill somebody. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna walk around being scared, you shouldn't hold the badge. And he's like, you don't understand, bro. Any minute, anything can happen. You know, and I was just like, I didn't necessarily agree with him, but I felt him. I was like, you know what? Let me try to put myself in his shoes. And I feel like this film is going to put people in the shoes of these three men, and as opposed to just seeing it from one view. And I'm so excited for the conversations after, you know.